On this Veterans Day, we are thanking those who have served for our country, thanking those who have gone overseas, thanking those that have served here, and thanking those families that have made those sacrifices as well, and anyone that has been involved in that process, and that includes Army football head coach Jeff Monken joining us now. And Coach, you are the coach of young men who are going to serve our country for 5 years after their time is done with you at Army. Can you tell us what should be going through our minds on this Veterans Day?
I think Veterans Day is for all those who certainly have served and those that continue to serve. I think it's just a day to honor anyone who's worn the uniform in our military, and we ought to celebrate it every day. It's just tremendous to be a part of an institution like this with these kinds of young people and the commitment that they have to our country. And service is something that I think everybody serves something. A lot of people serve themselves, and it's easy for us to serve our families because we've got an investment in our families. They live in our house, and we provide for them, and certainly we care about them deeply. But service in the military goes way beyond that. These young men and women here, and all those that they'll serve with, and those that have served, have made a commitment to serve those they didn't know, those they'll never meet, and to me that makes that kind of service and that commitment pretty special.
Coach, you've coached at Georgia Southern, and now you're the head coach here in the Service Academy with Army. How much more difficult is it to be the head coach? What are the unique challenges at a Service Academy?
Oh, we'd need a lot longer time than you've got for this interview for me to tell you all the differences and all the challenges. But it's a great place, and a place that I believe we can be successful and have a championship football program. And if I didn't feel that way, I wouldn't have come here. I knew there were going to be challenges, and that was part of the draw. That was part of the excitement for me. Was people said, "Well, you can't win there," and I think as coaches, we're competitive people, and I just kind of in my gut felt like, well, I'm going to show you I can. And I had a really good job, a place I loved, kids I loved, and we were winning, and chose to come here because of those challenges. One, and secondly, really to be a part of this academy for all the reasons we're talking about, to be around people that share a commitment to something a whole lot bigger than themselves. And I had the good fortune of being an assistant for Paul Johnson, who's now the head coach at Georgia Tech for 13 years. And one of the schools that we coached together at was the United States Naval Academy, and we had a great experience there. We were very successful after a run of not being very successful at that school. We were able to win and go to bowl games, and I feel like we can accomplish that here. And it's going to take some time. A building project that's going to last and sustain success isn't going to happen overnight, but it'll happen, and I'm confident we can do it here at Army.
In honor of Veterans Day, joining us now, head football coach of Army, Jeff Monken with Armen and Levack on 104.5 The Team. Coach, why do sports and military have such a strong bond?
I think they're the ultimate team settings. I mean, it's a group of people having to work together in a common bond for a common goal, and not everything in life is that way. And I think football, more than any other sport, shares a commonality with the military, in that you pick a sport. There is no other sport where so few people get to touch the ball. There's 22 guys on the field, and on some plays, 2 guys touch the ball. the center and the quarterback. That's it. Other plays, 3 guys get to touch the ball, sometimes 4, but that leaves a lot of guys out there that don't ever get to touch that ball that have the same goal and different jobs to do. And I think that's a lot like the military. Not everybody is getting to pull the rope on the cannon that shoots the missile or fly the helicopter and do the things that probably everybody notices. Be the guy that pulls the trigger. But there's a lot of people that do a lot of other things and have a lot of jobs that are essential to that guy on the front line pulling the trigger. And so I think that's the same in football. We all have a job to do, and some of them go unnoticed, but they're awfully important jobs, and it teaches those guys to work together and be unselfish, and I think it's a great lesson, and that's why I think it's the ultimate team sport.
Coach, here we are on Veterans Day, and I'm looking ahead to what I believe is one of the greatest football rivalries there is. I know many people agree with me. December 12th, Army-Navy game. You've been on both sides of this. How do you keep the kids? How do you keep? The cadets and yourself from looking ahead to December 12th? You got 2 more games to go. How do you not look ahead to Army-Navy?
Our kids are focused on this week's game, and they're as football players, they're not any different than anybody else, and they're just we're doing the best we can to try to win this week, and that's certainly a goal of ours to win that game, but it's not something that we talk about or have to keep the guys from looking ahead. We got enough to worry about, believe me, with playing Tulane this week, so we're completely focused on them. And I think our guys handle that very professionally.
Coach Jeff Monken, head coach of the Army football program. Tell us about your game this weekend against Tulane. You guys 2-7 on the year. So are they. You're hosting Tulane this weekend at West Point.
Well, we're certainly disappointed with where we're at right now. We had much higher expectations for our performance, the end result, I guess, our record. And, we've been close in a bunch of games. We've lost by 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Our guys have played really, really hard, and we played really well at times. Just we've had some close games, and at times we've made mistakes. And frankly, at this point in our program where we're at, we're just not quite good enough to overcome some of those things that happen. Giving up a big play or overcoming a break that doesn't go our way, and we've hurt ourselves with turnovers at times this year, and you can't do that and win. But we've been in a lot of football games, and unfortunately, just haven't found a way to win. And but I think it's kind of going like you hope it would. You want to be competitive, and last year there were a lot of games we weren't as competitive as we needed to be. We got our butts whipped, and this year we've been very competitive and with an opportunity to win a lot of those football games. And now we've got to learn to win, and I'm confident we will. We traveled this past weekend with 28 freshmen. That's a lot of freshmen on a 72-man roster. So we played almost 20 freshmen in the game, whether it be a starter on offense or defense or a guy that came off the bench or a special team. So a lot of young guys, and that's promising. That's encouraging for our future to be as close as we've been in so many games with young guys. Tulane's a very athletic football team, and they've played some very good people tough. They were up on Memphis. They were up on Temple. They were in a bunch of games early, and some of them got away, and some they lost very closely. So they're probably a lot like us in that regard, but they're athletic. They're a fast football team, and they're a much bigger football team than us. They've got 2 defensive linemen who weigh over 300 pounds, and probably their entire offensive line, and that's much bigger than the guys we've got. So to overcome that, those physical mismatches, we have to play really well, and so we've got a huge challenge on our hands this week.
All right, Coach, one more question. We'll get you out of here. Coach Jeff Monken of the Army football program with Armen and Levack. Coach, my parents came up from Texas all the way to New York just to go to West Point and look at the campus. We're privileged, I believe, to be in the Empire State and be so close to West Point. What makes that place so special in your words, Coach?
When you can walk the halls and walk the plain out here where two presidents of the United States, famous generals, Eisenhower, MacArthur, Patton, 5 men who have walked on the moon, 50 state governors, congressmen, senators, 3 Heisman Trophy winners, some of the most successful people in business have walked. You're walking American history here. George Washington founded this piece of land here as a military installation in the Revolutionary War. Thomas Jefferson founded this school. It's part of our American history. This is America's college. This university belongs to the American people, and it's an absolutely beautiful place to sit right here on the Hudson River, just north of New York City, in this beautiful setting. Just incredible. And every American should visit this campus and have an opportunity to see it, because it really is. This does belong to the American people.
Coach Jeff Monken of the Army football program playing Tulane this weekend at home. And, Coach, we just want you to know, and please I'll let your team know as well, we're thankful, we're proud on this Veterans Day. We're thinking of you guys, praying for you guys. Have a great game this weekend, and thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for what you do with these guys, helping mold their lives as well and going forward.
I appreciate that, guys. Beat Navy.
Yeah, go Army, beat Navy.
Thank you, Coach.